Welcome back to the Real Hard Money Show, fam. It's Khalif Harold breaking you out of your fiat prison. Today we got Chris Knight, aka Bitcoin Chris. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start over because you don't want me to say Chris Knight, right? I keep it Bitcoin Chris. We streaming live. Welcome back to Real Hard Money. It's your boy Khalif Harold. I have on the line Bitcoin Chris, the Bitcoin rogue who's shredding the matrix lies with a vengeance. This dude is out here exposing the bankster scams, stacking sats, and preaching freedom with a holy middle finger to the system. His ex feed, pure dynamite, dropping truth bombs to wake the debt slave dreamed suckers up out of their nightmares. Buckle up for a no BS blast to the financial sovereignty. Bitcoin Chris about to blow the roof off the building. Chris, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. Yes, yes, I had to give you a good one. You know, I've been seeing you for years, like we were just talking before we got on. I've been seeing you for years, maybe even 2019. I was still out in Miami, and I think you were out in Florida, right? And you're in Orlando. That's right. And yeah, so I was like always wanted to connect with you, and this is actually the first time we're actually connecting and seeing each other face to face. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've made my stupid Bitcoin mistakes as well. I think everybody does, right? Yeah. So give the people a little introduction about yourself, your journey. We're here. We're all about the journey here, the Bitcoin journey, because it's a little different for everyone else. So let the people know, how'd you get to Bitcoin? What gave you your aha moment, and where you're at now with it. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 It feels like 30 years to me, bro. I'm like, with the ups and downs, especially when it's down, that's when it's that winter was the longest, hardest Bitcoin winter. Like if you went through that last winter and you held real, you're a real one for sure, for sure. So what 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 are you doing now in the Bitcoin community? How do you interact with Bitcoin? Are you? I see you posting about Bitcoin, but do you do anything else? Mm-hmm. 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 I see. I went through your post, and you mentioned not funding the devil in your post. Talking about fiat. You know, and and yeah, yeah. So I often say, like, when you really understand Bitcoin, it takes you to another place. It's like it's more spiritual. It's a higher level of thinking and being and feeling and resonating, and you changes your whole perspective around. So how do you balance the moral or spiritual aspect of financial freedom with the practical realities of living in a fiat dominated world? It's a deep. It's deep. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Facts. I like that, man. That was a good take. Put money into your energy into money that Jesus would use and not what the devil would use. And I think it's very clear that Jesus would prefer Bitcoin over fiat. That's a great take. That's fire right there. Um, Tell me, what do you like about Trump? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, Raekwon. I'm the guess who's the Black Trump? Yeah, Raekwon. You know what I mean? Everybody. He was cool. I'm from New Jersey, man. I know Atlantic City. Like Trump was big. New Jersey, New York. Like Trump was that dude. He was cool, but then he got into the politics. Hmm. 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 Right. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Trump lies like a fountain. He's like a fire hose of lies. Mm. Yeah, I was the biggest Obama fan until I kind of did my own research on that whole his whole reign, his whole tenure in the presidency. Okay, so yeah, I like first I couldn't first Trump was cool because he was cool with all the celebrities, Mike Tyson, anybody, Tiger Woods, anybody that was hot and popping, Michael Jackson. He had Eddie Murphy. The '80s was crazy for Trump, right? He was out there. He was chilling with everybody. And if you was popping, you were cool with Trump. It didn't matter if you were black, white, green, yellow, blue, whatever. And I know Trump is not a racist like that. Like people try to put him into a box like that. I think everybody has their own thing, and if he's racist, he might be that old classic diet type of racist. But that's everywhere. Trump's not extraordinary in that degree. So I think Trump, he lived his life as a Democrat. He flipped over to Republican because he saw a lane to take, right? So and he took it. So I learned to not be outraged in it because honestly, when he won that first time, I was depressed, dog, and I was like, why my emotions so letting some another man person thing outside of myself mess with my emotions and my life and how I move and swerve in this world. It was very odd. It's very odd, and then once you see that in yourself, you can see it in other people. Like, you're letting these politicians disrupt your life. It doesn't matter who's the president. You got to go out there and get you and do you. They're not going to pay your light bill, your rent, and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, I don't remember receiving a payment for my mortgage from Obama. Uh, you know what I mean? They might have dumped some helicopter money out, but they're not going to sustain you. All right, so um, let's move on from that. Um, I've seen you praise Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and currency debasement, with like all the M2 global money debt levels rising. What do you see Bitcoin what role do you see Bitcoin playing if we face a major economic crisis in the next decade? Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 It's an elemental thing, I believe. I think it's like some kind of synthetic elemental thing, like space, time, gold. It's like it's salient. It's like an elemental thing. You can't break it down. And I love how I love what you said about uh, previously. Damn, I lost my train of thought too. But let me ask you this: you advocate for church trust and private contracts alongside Bitcoin. How do these strategies complement each other in building a financial life outside of the traditional system? Mm, mhm, 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 mhm. Right. Mhm. Wow. Mhm. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Wow. Eh, Trust. Trust. Hmm. Yes. And that's really interesting. I have to talk to you offline about that because, I've been trying to get my family into this for a long time and we're coming together as, because people always, you live through this life and you're hustling by yourself, right? But like if we came together, like just your family members, there's seven of us. And I saw a post of research about DCAing, right? And we're thinking about, buying real estate and things like this and like, for the family so we can have something for the future and grow it for the next generation, right? And have a trust, right? And something like that. And you could do real estate and stuff and any type of business venture to get income to fund that trust and like build it. And we have a couple of realtors in the family that are very, real estate centric. But I was like, we're Bitcoin guys, so I'm thinking, you guys don't know how Bitcoin performs over the years, but like you just see the up and downs and the crashes. You're not zooming out. There's research that shows, 5 years of DCA. If you DCA 5 years from 2020 to now, May 2020 to May 2025, you would have, if you DCA $300 a month, you would have one Bitcoin, $10 a day. You hear me? Can I get an amen? You have one Bitcoin if you DCA $10 a day into Bitcoin for 5 years. You have one Bitcoin. And they don't understand how one Bitcoin is life changing. It just, not even in 10 years now, because I believe $5 of Bitcoin is FU money. Because you can say FU to the system, I don't need you. So even if you have $5 of Bitcoin, you got FU money. So transitioning back to, should we get real estate or should we buy Bitcoin? Well, it's seven of us. If we did that $10 a day each person, we'd have seven Bitcoin right now. We have almost $800,000 right now, not doing anything but stacking. We'd have almost $1 million not doing anything but stacking, not worrying about rent, taxes, flipping the houses, reconstruction, uh, you know, anything, repairs, nothing, just stacking. So I believe that the next 5 years, it's going to be similar. We won't have seven Bitcoin, but it's still that stacking at that rate will create almost $1 million in 5 years if we all came together. So, like to put it in a trust like that, like you're doing to protect it, because the government wants their taxes, right? So to protect it like that, we really have to talk, man. Um, but let's get back to you. Um, I had a question about. Oh, I remember what I lost my thought of track of thought on before, is that I like the way you said Bitcoin's not a hedge. Bitcoin is the solution, right? People don't get that. Bitcoin is a hedge. It's kind of like weak. It's like gold. No, it's way beyond gold. It's bigger than gold. It's not. It's bigger than you think it is. uh, you know, the Bitcoin bubble's gonna pop. No, Bitcoin is the pin here to pop the everything bubble. So I like what you were saying about that, and I think, man, I think you're really spot on with a lot of things you're saying, man, for real. So here's a question for you. Like many new Bitcoiners struggle with the volatility, like we were just saying, with that long, hard crypto winter, Bitcoin winter, and the complexity of self custody. People struggle with that, like, when they're new to Bitcoin. What practical advice would you give someone just starting their Bitcoin journey to overcome these hurdles? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Jade. Jade Wallet. Cold Card. Oh, the Bit Key. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That was a great. You're giving great, excellent breakdowns, responses. I love it, man. So that there's many options for you guys out there to discover, from super technical to high ease of use. Bitcoin, if Jade Wallet or Cold Card was on one end of the spectrum, maybe a BitKey and Zengo, something like that, is on another end of the spectrum. There's options out here for you guys to explore. But the second part of that question, Chris, was the volatility of Bitcoin. How does the average plebe or newcomer handle that? It's tough. Mm, mhm, mhm, mhm. Wow. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. Mhm, mhm. The volatility is vitality, right? And that's a great place to transition. I like this. Let's stay on the spiritual part of it. Um, you know, people call Bitcoin a cult, but I think it just brings you to a higher vibration, a higher level. Honestly. Um, but if Bitcoin was a religion, Chris, what would its core commandments be, and how would you as the high priest, you the high priest now, not Max, how would you as the high priest spread its gospel? Crazy. Hmm. The commandments. Hmm. Beautiful. But what would be your commandments? Like, what's your top three commandments? Thou shalt not. Lightning. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So let's talk about a little bit of current events. Like right now, the Vegas convention, one of the biggest conventions in Bitcoin history, 30,000 people there. We're seeing a little price surge, price action happening on Bitcoin. Um, what do you think about what season do you think we're in as far as Bitcoin's run, and how is it different? You were here in 2020, right? You went through that. Uh, were you there in 2017 though? Yes. You so that run up was crazy. It was from like 1,000, 2,000, all the way up to 20K. That was my real introduction into the world. Like I knew about Bitcoin before that, but that was my real introduction. How do you see now with and then that was a whole different vibe, right? That 2017 was like ICOs, right? And then the next cycle it was like NFTs, right? And then the FTX and you know, the Bankman Fried, uh, and everything blowing up with the leverage, the debt leverage, and all of that. So, what do you see this cycle is? You know, some people say Michael Saylor and MST. That's the new. That might be the thing that blows people up with too much being over levered and things like that. Or what's the narrative in this cycle? ETFs, everything coming in now. 2020 we went down, no, we went down to like 15. But at 20, when 2020 hit, we went down to 3 grand. Yes, we did all the way down because COVID hit. COVID hit, and we went from like 9 to 3 or something like that. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 Narrative or uh-huh. Sus, right? Suspect. Yeah. I think just like you said, you have to operate at a personal level. The promise of Bitcoin was always the decentralization of the network, not of the actual money or coin itself. So people can gather it, as they will. Nothing stopping Bitcoin Chris from stacking as much as he possibly can. That's your sovereign right, right? And nothing stopping from Michael Saylor from stacking as much as he possibly can. Now, whether you as a true Bitcoin believer decides to buy into MSTR and all of that, which is just a wrapper you, for Bitcoin, and you lose all of your sovereignty and the real power of holding Bitcoin, that's your choice in that. You can nothing stopping you from buying Bitcoin and just doing like that, covering your eyes. I don't see anything else, right? So, if you don't have Bitcoin first, big old bag, or whatever you have. If you have $1 of it, 90 cents should be in Bitcoin, and then 10%, 10 cents, you should do whatever you want to do. That's how I feel about it. Um, Chris, let me know. Let me get your opinion on this. With everybody hoarding, which is a good transition, right? The corporations hoarding, and now they're saying Nakamoto and then 21 Capital is coming, right? The competition for Seller, similar, Meta Planet. It's going to be a flywheel as people are gobbling it up, gobbling up all the Bitcoin. Are nation states hoarding Bitcoin a win for decentralization, or the matrix co opting it for control? Boom. Mm-hmm. 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 It's a protocol. Mm-hmm. So, mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to take a real quick break. We're gonna come back. I got some really good. I got about two or three really good more questions for you, Chris. Hold on, hold that thought. You got time to stick with me? All right.